We've been told since the 1980s pretty much that fat equals bad. Eat a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet, reverse obesity and heart disease. If your arteries are getting clogged, stop eating fat and you'll be fine. Sounds logical, right? Well, the hypothesis has had about 40 years by now, so how's it working out? Well, the results are all around us. Obesity in the West is at record levels. People are fatter than they've ever been. 28% of adults in England are obese and a further 36% are overweight, so nearly 2/3 of people are outside a healthy range. As for children, of reception kids, those aged 4 to 5, nearly 10% are obese, with a further 13% overweight. That's close on a quarter of kids when they start school. For 10 to 11-year-olds, more than 1/3 are overweight or obese. It's even worse in the US. So what are we doing? Now sure, you'll see political commentary about kids who don't exercise enough, and that's a real thing. And you'll see some politically partisan people blaming Margaret Thatcher for selling off playing fields in the 80s. You'll hardly find a single politician who'll admit that their dietary recommendations that have been pushed for several decades now are complete garbage. But there's an elephant in the room which is way more significant than any of that, and it's sugar. According to the NHS, British people eat 700 grams of sugar a week, which in imperial terms is about 80 pounds a year. And this is biologically addictive, far more so than even the proverbial Colombian marching powder. So why is this so bad? Well, sugar causes an insulin spike and later a crash, which can lead us to feeling hungry quite soon after eating, which of course prompts us to eat more. Also, it's pretty high calorie but not at all nutrient dense. And I think this is where the term empty calories comes from. And it's all too easy to eat a lot of sugar quickly, as anyone who's ever eaten chocolate or ice cream will tell you. And bad as weight gain is for your health, there are much greater problems. Sugar leads to a release of inflammatory cytokines and thus pain, as well as defective joints and a plethora of diseases in the body. Medical science in recent years has really begun to understand the negative impacts of inflammation in the body. As well as obvious things like diabetes, it's linked to a number of cancers and neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So this is a dangerous addiction, but the good news is you can reverse it pretty quickly in only 10 days. How? With some simple dietary changes. Now obviously you need to quit sugar along with gluten. Decent protein sources such as grass-fed beef, organic chicken, various types of fish or eggs are all fine. You should also eat non-starchy vegetables and good fats with every meal. I put a list in the description and with a bit of imagination and searching up paleo or keto recipes on video sharing sites, you can find a good variety of recipes. It's also good if you can get a decent night's sleep because insomnia drives hunger hormones. I have a video up on getting restful sleep and I'll put a link on the end screen. Try to avoid processed foods. If you must, read the label and avoid the high sugar ones. Since fat became bad, food manufacturers have tried to compensate for the lack of taste by adding back more sugar. It's in literally everything. Now, if you live in the UK, the label will say carbohydrates of which sugars, but try to avoid these things and eat whole foods if at all possible. Learn to cook. It doesn't take long and it's oddly cathartic. Do I even need to mention natural sweeteners? Just get over it. Within about 10 days, you won't miss it. Now, eating protein with every meal will certainly stabilize your blood sugar, and a decent fat source will stave off hunger and boost satiety. This really works, and I've been surprised and delighted at what a hunger suppressant healthy fats can really be. Dump any sugary food you have in your house. Don't kid yourself. If you have it, you'll eat it. Also, try to watch your stress levels, because stress can trigger emotional eating. Now, when you've broken yourself of the addiction, you might want to have a cheat day or a cheat meal every now and again. I certainly wouldn't do it more than once a week, but it can make the psychological process easier if you need that. You may also find, however, that after you've broken the addiction, your palate changes and you don't crave this stuff so much anymore. If you can keep this up for only 10 days, you will start to feel and look so much better. If you plan to do this, or you've already done something similar, please let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to hear about your experiences. If you like this, please like, recommend, and subscribe.